Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Tuesday morning. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Tuesday, guys. So listen, I've been reading your emails and your comments. And thank you guys. Honestly, I'm grateful and I'm humble. But I just want to clear something up really quickly. I think I need to go back and fix the title on the last recording because I think it makes it sound like I'm saying like I'm going and I'm not coming back type of thing. But if you listen to the recording, what I stated was I will still make recordings for those who email me who are considered to be regular supporters. Also, regular supporters don't mean like you're stalking my channel and you're liking every video and you're commenting on every video, right? Because every topic is not for you, right? There are some topics that's going to be for some people not. So that's not what I'm expecting. Regular supporter just means basically I know who you are. Like I know your name, right? I know your name. Also, I stated that I still needed to make a video for Steven, which I'm currently editing. And then I also stated that regardless of what I personally, emotionally feel, I can say what I want to say, right? But if I get a conviction, honey, your girl obedience is trust. Child, I will right on back, right? If my obedience, if I'm convicted obedience wise. So honestly, I'm not convicted obedience to get back on to make recordings every day, sometimes several times per day. I honestly feel I have the okay not to do so because God is pulling me in a different direction. Same thing I was saying in an earlier recording, I think last week, in regards to purpose and calling. Sometimes you're called to different things. So some of you guys might need to also tap in. And if you're starting to see a decrease in volume on whatever purpose that not purpose, whatever calling that you're currently in, whatever you're doing, you may need to tap in to find out if God is ready to call you someplace else. He may send you back to whatever you're being called from, but he may need you someplace else. So sometimes it's the people who are just being trifling, just like if you look at people look and listen to the last recording and still didn't like. A great number did, honestly, and I'm thankful for you guys. But it is what it is. So you have to be sure also that God is not wanting to call you to use your purpose in a different direction. There's two different directions right now where I feel like he's pulling me currently, and I'm going to stay more tapped in so I can kind of hear more there. Speaking of heavy conviction, to get back, I got a very, very heavy conviction to make this recording about a specific topic that I'm going to save for last. There's three things, but the last one was the conviction that I got this morning that says, I don't care what you're feeling, you're going to talk about this. One of you guys are going to get in trouble. One of you guys are going to get in trouble. And stay tuned. You'll know if it's true or not when I get to it. I think that's all I wanted to say about that. But I'm definitely, please, honestly, I'm not upset with anybody. I just, I call it when I see it. That's all. First thing I want to speak about really quickly. You would have to be under a rock if you don't realize that this is the season of exposure. Like, it is literally this season of exposure. And that's just not Hollywood and these evil folks at the top, right? Oh, it is. Oh, it is. That whole system is about to crumble. Again, they're starting with Puff, but that whole system is about to crumble. In fact, it started before Puff. There's somebody in my mind, particular, I'm not going to call her name, but she pretty much like lost her show, as well as something happened to somebody who worked to her show. Listen, these folks knew that some of this stuff, they heard the talks. They heard the whispers around Hollywood. So some of them went into a quote unquote early retirement, or they're going to now leave from acting and start ministry, or a lot of them started to turn their lives to God. All that stuff. They heard the whispers. Some people have been never mind. Let me just mind what I say because I don't want none of them fools coming up. So yes, that's going on, but also in our everyday lives, God is exposing people for their true intent. Okay, we know in last season we went through a sweep where God cleaned up and sweep and prune a lot of people from our lives in different ways. But then there's some people who may still be that God is going to continue to do a sweep, especially if He warned you and He's shown you and you're still making your head hard not to release them, right? Remember, it's obedience over emotions. Also, this is very, very important right here. You have to be careful that you're not in God's way. You have to be careful that you're not in God's way. See, as a chosen one, remember, right? You're chosen, you're covered, you're pure, you're this, you're that. So God has to protect you. So many times what God will do is He will use you as a test to somebody else. Somebody just caught that. He will use you as a test for somebody else. Remember, you're pure, you're authentic. So if anybody do wrong to you, then that shows God like this person definitely isn't ready for a certain type of blessings or to be increased. They failed the test when I sent them a rare, pure form chosen one. So what can that look like, Kizzy, in the physical realm? Because you get too deep in the spiritual realm. That can look like, say, for example, there's a gentleman who always struggled with his flesh. That was always his hiccup. And not just from the fleshly sense, but he committed all kind of evil acts and foolishness, whatever he had going on, right? Okay. So maybe he lost his family in that process. And then he begged and pleaded and got right with God, because sometimes we have to get on our face, right? And at some point, maybe God threw him in the wilderness to really work on him, really show him, still love on him, but gave him truth, etc., etc. So he did well in the wilderness area. But there are certain things that God told him in that wilderness or in that isolation season. I'm going to teach you how to pay attention to your convictions. I'm going to show you strategic ways that when you feel that flesh rising up, for you to get your behind on up out of there. That type of thing, right? So, okay. He begged God to get up out of that wilderness. Lord, I'm ready. Okay, I've tamed my flesh. I won't get myself in any kind of trouble. I won't, et cetera, et cetera. And God is telling him, well, no, I know you, you're only tamed because you don't have access. But yet he's begging God, no, I'm ready. Okay. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Who knows? But God now allowed him out of that wilderness season, placed him in due season, which just now means, okay, blessings. It's the seasons that blessings literally just find you if you're in proper alignment. So, all right, now God sends him to you, my good sis. You're a chosen one, pure, everything. And what do? He fumble you. He fumble you, the chosen one. So it's like God is like, you said you changed. You said you were ready. So I gave you the purest form of the purest form, and you fumbled that. You ain't ready. So now you got to go back in the wilderness. Now I got to cut off all open doors that I opened for you because you're really not ready. You weren't transformed. You thought you were. So with that being said, that leaves you in a situation, sis or bro. God used you as a test, a vessel, but a test. So if God feels that person has not changed, if God feels like that person has not learned their lesson, if God feels like this person can't even get the concept on how much he wants to bless and use them, and they're screwing it up, you got to walk. You got to walk, because if you hold on to it because of your big, beautiful heart, and well, we all make mistakes. Absolutely true. But that ain't this. This is God used you as a test to see where they are. They failed the test. So you got to walk. Obedience over emotions. They fumbled you. Move out of God's way. Let God deal with people the way he has to deal with them. The same way he had to deal with you and put you in your face, let God deal with people. And it's the hardest thing because our emotions want to hold on, especially chosen ones, empath. Our emotions want to hold on to people and this, that, and the third. Obedience over emotions. You'll mess around and block your own blessings because they block theirs. Move out God's way. Point blank, period. Next topic. Is that storm you're in? Is that attack really an attack or is it reproof? Because many times what we do is when we hit these certain storms, we're yelling and screaming about, oh, it's a spiritual attack, the enemy, the enemy, the enemy, right? Which of course, that's definitely the case at times. But also what I have experienced is, and I was just telling somebody this the other day, matter of fact, if God has been clear to you that there are certain things, certain habits, certain people, certain mindsets that has to go, and I'm not, he hasn't whispered this to you, right? You know this because you've been convicted 1,000 times. This is not even a question because some things we question like, is that God really trying to get me to, is that God? But then there's times where you know that you know that you know. There's absolutely no question. You know God has been on you about this thing, about this habit, about this mindset, about this person. I'm raising my hand on the patience thing, right? I'm so much better with my patience, but trust me, honey, patience. Whoo! But whatever it is for you, if you're making your head hard and God really needs to use you, in fact, you answered the call. See, that's where we get ourselves in, not trouble per se, but that's where we get, I don't know, you know the word I'm going to use there. We answered, meaning we started the process. It's one thing if you rejected your call. Then you're on your own. You can do whatever you want to do. God turned himself over to you and it is what it is. But you answered that call. You started the process and now you're in this thing. You can't even turn back if you wanted to. Be wise enough not to turn back. Let me just tell you that. So now that you're in this thing, you don't make the decisions. If he said they got to go, they got to go. Period. And then when you refuse, he'll snatch that rug. He will shake your whole entire world up. Yes, God is love. Yes, God is patience. Trust me, honey, because the patience that he has for me, right? God is all that. But he'll snatch that rug. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. He will turn your whole world upside down. Don't get it twisted. So is it a storm or a spiritual attack from the enemy? Or is it God transforming this whole situation because he tried to convict you where there's a grace and an ease to remove these things, people, mindsets, but you want to do what you want to do, even though he's convicted you 90,000 times. So now he snatched your rug. Vision in my mind just popped up. Think about a huge area rug that literally covers a massive living room area. But on that rug, you have coffee tables, you have candles sitting on the coffee tables, you have lamps, you have this, you have that. Imagine that rug being snatched and everything going up in the air and everything have shattered, everything just all over the place. It's a demonic attack. The enemy. Again, don't get it twisted because it could be that, but only you know. Have God been talking to you about certain things for a very long time and you keep making your head hard? He's trying to give you better. He's trying to literally take you higher. He's trying to lead you to purpose and calling. He's trying to get you to due season, but that stuff can't go. So submit to the process, surrender. Last topic. This was extremely, extremely, extremely heavy. There was clear insight and clear direction on what or what not to do when you enter due season. You got these revelations in isolation or the wilderness, whatever seasons that you, the season of stillness, whatever season you encountered before reaching due season. Again, many of us are in due season and don't recognize it because you don't see certain things in the physical realm manifesting, but your spirit, you know you're in due season. It's like it's any day now for the physical to be in your hands, for the promise to literally knock on your door, to literally run into that person. Like, you may not physically have seen these things, but your spirit is settled. You're content knowing that you're in due season. But there was something that God said, and this is not even a question mark or was it that, was it this, because it was very clear. In fact, you agreed to it. And what did the enemy do? The minute you hit due season, the thing that you said you wouldn't do found you, and you took bait. This is also part of the reason why we're not seeing some of the physical manifestation yet, because we're still being tested and watched. So tap in right here. You took bait. You messed up. Your response, your obedience to this conviction is going to determine if that promise is going to ever, all caps, ever manifest. You are literally stuck between a hard rock and a shell. You are going to walk away completely, regardless of what you want or what you feel, from that thing, from that place, or from that person that the enemy used, that was the very thing that God told you not to do, that you agreed to whenever he opened that door to due season. You have to make a decision, and you have to make that decision today. Like, that's how heavy and profound that conviction was. Meaning, this is not even something you can take a fast. Let me go on a 3-day fast to hear from God. Honey, for what? He already told you. You agreed to it. So what fast to hear from what? We messed up. Keep it real. Not everybody, of course. God knows that. Why do you think he held the physical manifestations back? Because he already know. It's us running our mouths about, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let me out of this wilderness. I'm ready. Honey, I got my Bible. I got my this. I'm so disciplined. I've been working out every day. Speaking of that, we done fell off of that. How did... Lord, please, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing to be funny. I'm laughing to be transparent and real and authentic. We fumbled, period. What are you going to do? We went through all these years of complaining, the wilderness, the stillness. Oh, I can't hear from God. God went silent on me. All these different seasons just to get to due season and fumble. You have a decision to make. Obedience or emotion. And the beautiful thing about it is, there's no there's no feeling of like judgment or God's anger, right? It's heavy, heavy, heavy conviction, but it's still love. It's still patience. So I'm going to work with you because I already knew this was going to happen. But are you going to listen to me? Some of you guys have been convicted heavy, real heavy about this thing lately, but you keep ignoring it. It's almost like you're not even budging. Almost like you're not even like, because with some of these situations, it's going to be hard to get out because you may have already developed some type of soul tie, some type of this, or open yourself up to some type of spirit or blah, blah, blah. So it's not that it's going to be easy, right? And I guess that's why God is being patient per se. He's willing to be patient in the process of you pulling yourself from that thing. Tapping somebody, it's about picking up a certain type of drug that you had conquered and mastered. Oh, it's way more than that. Trust me. But that just hit me just a second. But it's a lot of things. It's somebody already picked up some type of drug that they had mastered. Somebody, it's pick. You done went back to that porn and that foolishness you got going on, sir. For somebody, God told you to literally don't even date at all because he know that you not even date like at all because he knew that maybe you're weaker in certain areas or you might be somebody who don't know how to turn your emotions off when so you might have had some type of and you open yourself up and now you got a whole soul tie again and now you just can't pull away from this thing regardless of what he's saying. So it's a number of things. But you know what that thing is. He's willing to be patient with you in the process to, again, pull yourself out of this. The problem is you keep turning him off, meaning you're trying to avoid what he's saying. You're trying to act like you don't hear it because you're too far in. Be obedient to the conviction. If he says, change your number, you might be crying and changing that number at the same time. And these are just examples out of many. If he says, delete that old text message thread, because it's all lies. It was a cold counterfeit. So why open your spirit up to read lies and manipulation? It makes no sense. Because the more you read it, the more the enemy will use it to confuse your spirit. You got to receive it. It was all a lie. Receive it. It was sent from the enemy. Receive it. It's a counterfeit. Receive it. Either I'm going to be obedient or I'm going to miss my entire destiny. The choice is yours. It's go. Kizzy Rock.